Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is Monday, April 27th, and we are going to be working through page 16 and page 17 in your algebra booklet. This is part 2 of the application section. I did some application questions last week. Today we're doing part 2. All right, so I'm going to go through a couple questions, a couple word problems in 1 second. I'm just going to start with the warm-up questions that are on your page first. So there's a couple of those. The first one says, in a TV trivia show, a contestant receives 500 points for a correct answer and loses 200 points for an incorrect answer. All right, so we need let statements for our variables. We're saying let C represent the number of correct answers and let I represent the number of incorrect answers. Which expression do you think describes the contestant's total points? All right, so they are going to gain 500 points for every correct answer, which would be 500C, and they're going to lose 200 points for every incorrect answer, which is negative 200I. Okay, so we're going to select B, option B. And the second example, a hockey team earns two points for a win and 1 point for a tie. Let represent the number of wins. This should say let W represent number of wins and T, missing some letters here. T represent the number of ties. Which expressions can be used to describe the total points? All right, so we want 2W, okay, to start, and then we want to add 1T to that. So 2W plus 1T is over here. Another way of writing that would be 2W plus T, okay? Whether you say 1T or T doesn't make a difference. So both of these are correct answers, C and D. All right, so the first word problem example, this is a question relating to a pool table. And it says that a pool table is always twice as long as it is wide. All right, so if we let width equal to x, that means the length is going to be 2 times x, right? It's going to be 2 times whatever the width is. And it says to cover each table, the top must have rubber bumpers around the outside edge and a felt top. The rubber bumpers cost $2.50 per meter, okay, per linear meter, and then the felt material for the top cost is $30 per square meter. If x represents the width of the table, write an equation for the length. So that's, I said that already up here. If the width is going to be x, our length is going to be 2x. So we can say L is equal to 2x for our equation. Okay, part 2 of the first example, write an equation to represent the quantity of felt needed for each table. All right, so the felt is represented by the area of that table. All right, and we know that to find the area of a rectangle would be length times width. And we said our length is 2x and our width is x. So 2x times x, and 2x times x is 2x squared. All right, part 3, write an equation to represent the total cost of the felt for each table. All right, the cost for the area for the felt is $30 per square meter. And we said that our equation for the area is going to be 2x squared. So we're also going to say the cost is going to be 2x squared times 30, which is 60x squared. Part 4, write an equation to represent the quantity of rubber needed for each table. All right, so the rubber is the rubber part that goes along the outside. It's for the bumper, which would be represented by the perimeter. And the perimeter of a rectangle would be the length plus the width plus the other length plus the other width, right? It's all those 4 sides added together. So 2 lengths plus 2 widths. And we know that L, our length is 2x, so 2x plus 2x, and then width is x, so plus x plus x. So altogether we have 2, 4, 5, 6 x's, so 6x. We're adding them together. And number 5, write an equation to represent the total cost of the rubber needed for each table. And we said our radius, our perimeter going all the way around is going to be 6x, and the cost is 250 per square per meter, linear meter. Okay, so we're going to say 6 times 250, which is 15x. And the last part for this question, no, there's one more. We got number 7 as well. So number 6, write an algebraic equation that represents the total cost to put the felt and rubber on each table. All right, total cost. So we're looking at the two costs. The cost of the felt up here was 60x squared, and then the cost of the rubber was 15x. So we're going to add those together. Okay, they have different endings, so we can't actually combine them. This is as far as we can go, but that's an expression to represent the cost of the felt and the rubber together. For number 7, we're given a width of 1.5 meters, and we want to figure out what the cost would be to cover that table. Okay, so the width is 1.5. So now we can take our equation from question 6, and the width is x, right? We said this was going to be represented by x, and now we're being told that x is 1.5. Okay, so in your equation, take the x out and replace it with 1.5. Okay, so 60 times 1.5 squared plus 15 times 1.5. Work this out first. 1.5 gets squared first, right, following BEDMAS, 1.5 to the exponent of 2, and then multiply that answer by 60, and then to that you're going to add 15 times 1.5. So you should have $157.50. So that is the first example. The second example is Sam is remodeling multiple rectangular rooms of the same size at the convention center. Each room has a length of 3 times the width of the room. The baseboard costs $3.50 per meter, while the carpeting costs $10 per square meter. Okay, part 1 says to label the dimensions of a rectangular room to be modeled. So I've made a diagram on the side here. Length is 3 times the width. So I'm saying that my width is going to be x, which means my length has to be 3x. Write a simplified equation to represent the amount of carpeting needed. So carpeting needed is area, right, which is length times width. So 3x times x is 3x squared. And baseboard needed, that would be my perimeter, and perimeter is going all the way around on the outside, right? So it would be 3x plus x plus 3x plus x. So all together, that's going to give us 8 x's. Part 3, write in simplified algebraic expression that represents the total cost of both baseboard and carpeting. So we want to add those together. So we've got 3x squared multiplied by 10 because the carpeting costs $10 per square meter. And then to that, we're going to add 8x multiplied by the cost of each meter for the baseboard. Okay, and I just multiplied 3 times x squared, which is 30x squared, and 8x times 350 is 28x. So this is our simplified expression. If now we're given the width of the room, we can figure out what the total cost would be for the carpet and for the baseboard. Okay, and that's exactly what's happening here. In question 4, it says figure out what the cost is if you're given the width of 5 meters for your room. Okay, so I'm just going to replace my x with 5, and then square the 5, multiply by 30, and then 5 times 28 is 140. Okay, so $890 would be the cost. All right, so those are two examples that I wanted to do with you guys. so that you've got some more application questions as examples. Your homework is this page here. I am also going to put this page into Google Classroom if you're finding it hard to see what the questions are in the video. It starts off with some collecting light term questions. Some of these have brackets down here, so be careful, especially if there's a negative in front of a bracket. If that happens, you have to multiply everything in that bracket by -1 in the front, so it changes the sign of the 3x squared and the 4, right? They both become negative when you're removing the brackets. Number 2 has some fraction questions. I did fraction questions in my last lesson. So if you're having trouble, take a look at the example I did at the end to help you out, or send me an email if you're having trouble with these, and I can write the answers out for you. A couple more simplifying questions. This one has finding error in the statement, and then 5, 6, and 7 are going to be your word problems that you're going to try. Answers are at the bottom as always. Make sure that you're showing your work. I'm sending some of the work back that I'm receiving if you're not showing your work. Don't just write down the final answer. All right, good luck guys. Let me know if you need some help. Talk to you soon.